Hey all, happy Wednesday. I hope you all are doing good. If you haven't already, you will need the notes paper we started on Monday, I believe, the one that had the dynasties on it. So it should still be in that module for Monday. So if you need to re-download it or anything, you can pause the video here and go grab and open that up real quick, as you will need to fill that in as we go today. So I will pause it for a second, let you all go get it, then we'll get started. Did you all really go get that? Last chance, quit it. Right. So now that you all have gotten your paper, we are going to talk about the Qin dynasty. I know it looks like it's pronounced Quinn, but it's actually pronounced Qin. And they were around for 15 years. Solid. Not really, but yeah, 15 years. 221 to 206 BC. Now, if you remember from the Zhou dynasty we did yesterday, those guys were around for like 800 years. Why are we spending the time to talk about this dynasty here when they were only around for 15? And I'm about to tell you. So, after the Zhou dynasty China entered this period that is known as the Warring States period. And what that was where a bunch of those Chinese nobles, those clans, if you want to call them that, began revolting and fighting each other for control of China. The Qin were one of them, of course. And so if you, okay, that's a thing. If you look here, the Qin are this in red right here, and they are one of the people fighting for control of all of China. So this right here is where things were in 453 BC. Notice it's about 200-ish years before the official start date of the Qin. So 350, not bad. Could be better, not bad. There we go. They're jumping up a little bit. 230. Solid. 223, outstanding. 221, they got China. So about 200 years, Qin were able to take over not all of what is today China, but a good chunk of what today would be China. You notice there are two rivers here. Remember from last week, those two rivers are the Yellow and the Yangtze. So you notice where most of Qin dynasty territory is, right in the middle of those two rivers. So that's important. So this man right here is our first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Sure, I spoke that. He was the first emperor of the Qin dynasty. He was one of two emperors of the Qin dynasty. That would make more sense for a second. He is known for a lot of things. Most of them not good things, but he is known for them nonetheless. So his big thing was, so I can pull it up here. Do I have it? I do. So he's known for a couple of things. Despite only being around 15 years and Mr. Qin Shi Huang being a generally terrible person, they actually did some pretty good stuff that would benefit later Chinese dynasties and the world at large. He set up a standard form of measurements across the Qin Empire, meaning how we use miles here in the U.S. as an example I can think of. The number of feet in a mile does not change when you go from Indiana over to Ohio or Indiana to Michigan or whatever. Miles are still miles as long as we're in the U.S. It's not even a measurement. Counts. That's another one. You weigh the same here in Indiana as you would if you went and lived out in Wyoming or something like that. So the idea being, it makes things easier as far as just general travel and knowledge goes, and it also makes for better economic conditions as well. He set up what is known as the uniform wheel axles for carriage thingies. Yeah, wheels. The idea being this would help with transportation. If everybody is kind of riding around on similar style wheels, hopefully the roads aren't as beat up, aren't as rough to repair. It's an overall smoother travel. It's kind of like having paved roads here. He set up a uniform currency, money, basically. And they are also known for their outstandishly large construction projects. I'm not sure if outstandishly is a word, but we're going to go with it. One of those, you might have heard of it, it's called the Great Wall of China. Very important. Much wow. So they combined some of the early Shang sections of wall and turned them into what we now know as the Great Wall of China. They also set up a very strong central government. Some would argue too strong of a central government, and I'll explain what that means in a second. So if you haven't already, I would put these under achievements. So go ahead and write. You can pause it here if you need to. Write these down. I'm going to go on to the next part of our video here. Okay. There we go. Okay. And we're going to talk about this idea of legalism. We haven't talked about this yet, so if you're looking at like, they're looking at what in the world is this? It's fine. We haven't talked about this, but we are going to now. The idea was, basically the idea of legalism, there should be strict laws that govern society. And that people should know what these laws are. They should know what the consequences for breaking said laws are. And the punishment should be handled out universally, meaning just because you're a rich person doesn't mean you should get a shorter sentence or less severe punishment than some poor guy who did the same thing. And the Qin adopted this philosophy, went a little too far with it, and it caused a lot of problems, and that's partially why the Qin were only around for about 15 years or so. So according to this quote here, punishment should not be other than severe and definite, thus making the people fear them, and laws should not be other than uniform and steadfast, thus making the people comprehend them. The enlightened rulers use their men's strength, but does not listen to their words, rewards them for their meritorious services, but always eliminates the useless. But basically what the gist of this is, people should know their laws and know the punishments, one, so that people should be afraid of you. Two, they should know what they are and they should be universal, that way people understand them. And three, you keep people around who are useful to you. If they're not useful to you, get rid of them. So just throwing that out there is what they're doing. But the Qin adopted this idea, and it caused some problems for them. So some of the things that they are known for is obviously the Great Wall of China, some of which you can see here. Some writing, I think they called it. There's a name for the writing, I can't remember it offhand, but we don't even know it. But they added on to the writing from the Shang Dynasty, remember the Oracle Bone writing. They enhanced and added on to it, and it looks like this, obviously. So one of the things that the Qin did was they set up a strong central government, almost too strong in that, obviously, they were murdered within 15 years of taking power. Part of the problem was the Qin emperor, remember the first guy, Qin Shi Huang, was very unflattered by criticism. He executed a ton of people who did not agree or support him. He did not want others reading about other dynasties, other things other than him. So any books that he disagreed with, a lot of Confucius's writings, remember him from yesterday, a lot of those and other books that the Qin emperor deemed not good, whatever, were burned. Writings, poetry, laws, things that he didn't agree with were taken and burned. It's kind of what is known as censoring. I'm sure if you've paid attention to any news sources lately, you've seen a lot of people claiming censoring. And basically what censoring is it's taking one side's viewpoint and making it to where they can't publish it. Newspapers, books, magazines, pictures, writings, speeches, whatever. Preventing someone's ideas or thoughts from getting out into the general public. The Qin did not want this, of course, so they burned or destroyed anything that they felt went against what they were standing for. And it's partially why they lasted 15 years. The real reason is Qin Shi Huang died about 12 years after he took power. And then his son took over, and his son was terrible person. He ended up getting murdered at some point, but he caused the whole thing to fall apart. So that's why the Qin are around 15-ish years, but that is also why they are one of the more well-known dynasties in Chinese history because of all the achievements they had during the 15-year period. Even though both the emperors were terrible people, 0 out of 10, would not recommend letting them be in charge of anything. A lot happened during those 15 years, and we're going to look at a little bit more of this tomorrow, but we're going to look at this question here. What caused the fall of the Qin? So there is another video on YouTube I want you to watch. It says it's 6 minutes. You only need to watch the first 2:30, I think is what I said. I'm just going to recap a little bit of what we talked about here, and then there are the questions that you need to answer for today. And then tomorrow we'll go into more detail with this. That is all I have for you. I will put another video up of me reading the questions for today if you need those. Other than that, I hope you all have a good rest of the day, and I will see you all tomorrow.